29.35. Welcome back to 3 Hour Ballistics, and as you can see, we're in the lab, the shop here, so you know we have some testing, some building we're doing, and we're taking you along on the journey. So today's experiment, we're going to evaluate and test the theories of multi-hit capable ceramic body armor. Typically you're going to see two types. There's a single tile or a multiple tile array throughout ceramic body armor. The theory is multiple tiles contain the damage to the tile roughly, and it gives you more multi-hit capable body armor plate. And we have tested that. I will go ahead and show you. So this is body armor that we have already tested, and as you can see in these little areas here, we really try to hit every corner to see how much damage we could inflict on the plate. And if we come over here, you can see a lot of the plate was kept intact. So that is the theory, and that is what our experiment is. So why are the tiles normally 2 by 2 inches in diameter? You need something with a little bit of mass to stop the projectile. The fracturing and cracking is actually also what slows down the projectile. The hardness is what breaks it up. And there's a lot more into this. There's the spalling, which is what comes out the back. And I can show you, I don't know if this is gonna pick it up, but the spalling is what comes out the back of that. Usually has a coning or a coning to the fracturing. So there is theory that you need a certain amount of mass to stop that. However, if you go smaller with the tile, this is a 1 inch tile, this is half the size, but really it's a quarter of the size because this is 4 inches squared, whereas you would need 4 of these to cover this. So it's about a quarter of the size. Can this still be effective? And why would we even do that? Well, the reason is most single plates are multi-curve when you have a single ceramic body armor. There are some, the Fraz and others out there that have, you know, different capabilities. But going to a smaller tile does allow us to have a multi-curve ceramic body armor plate that hopefully has multi-hit capability protection. So that's what we have here. This is a 5.6 pound, 3/4 inch thick, you know, a 10 by 12 homemade body armor plate. Essentially what we have is we have 1/4 inch tile, 3/8 inch of polycarbonate, which we're going to use as support for the tile. And then we have about 165 layers of ultra high molecular weight polyethylene. The polyethylene we ended up pressing and adding a little bit of heat to make it rigid and hard. And then we have adhesive and tape just holding it all together. And I understand, trust me, I have tested a lot of body armor now, a lot off camera, a lot of R&D plates, and the adhesion is very important. This does not have the best adhesion, but it's got something that I think will be acceptable for this test. And what are the threats? What are the threats we're hitting? So again, this isn't necessarily, you know, we're not going for RF2, RF3, or any NIJ standard. We just want to see the multi-hit capability of this plate. So the threats are going to be 7.62 by 39. We'll start with the full metal jacket. We even have a 7.62 by 39 LAP lap round, light armor penetrating round. 5.56 will go full metal jacket, M855, M855A1. If it, I don't think it'll stop that. It's not rated for anything like this. Maybe a 308. If it stopped all that, we'll even do a 30-06 M2AP. But we're not. This is not made to stop anything, but maybe up to a 5.56 M855, maybe an M855A1. but we are going to hit it multiple times. We're going to hit this at least 8 times regardless. We'll go up to whatever threat goes through, then we'll step it back down and just keep on hitting it and see if we do get any of this coning or fracturing like you see in the real commercially available body armor plates. So with all that long-winded speech being said, let's go to the range. Let's go hit this with all those different rounds, and then we'll come back, assess it, and then at the very end, I'll show you how we built it. We got the plate up there, and like I said, we got the Ruger wrench shooting a 7.62 by 39. This will be a 123 full metal jacket that we're going to start with, and then we'll go from there. Here we go. Woo, speed 2358. As we watch the round come in, I do want to mention we have clay behind this panel. That way we can check and see if anything passes through. This is where we hit with that full metal jacket. And holy smokes, yeah, it stopped it. And like we are hoping, I don't know if I can get out of the way there, it contained it to that little area right there. Looks like we broke up 2 tiles. So let's go ahead and hit it. We're going to hit it a little bit close with the lap round 7.62 by 39 light armor penetrating. So let's give it another shot. And like I said, we're going to go ahead and do a LAP round 7.62 by 39, and that's what it looks like. This has a mild steel core and should give us a little bit more penetration. Okay, here we go. Woo, 2342. That looked like it was closer to 2 inches. Let's take a look. As we walk up, we are 2 inches, so a little bit further away than I wanted it to, but we hit in between 2 tiles. So what did we get? Let's see. Woo, it stopped it. That one hit a lot harder. Obviously, looks like it broke up a few more tiles, but as you can see, did not go through. Let's try our 5.56 threats. Okay, our next 3 threats are going to be 55 grain M193, 62 grain M855, and then an M855A1 if we stop the green tip, which I'm not sure about that. But anyway, let's go ahead, shoot these 3, see what we get. Okay, first up is the 55 grain full metal jacket. We're definitely going to the top. We'll go right below the strap. Here we go, more towards the center. Woo, 2937. We are actually going to go to green tip before we go and take a look at that. We'll try to do a connect 4, put them real close to each other. Here we go. Oh, 2951, going faster than the full metal jacket. Let's take a look. Here is the 55 grain full metal jacket. Here is the green tip. Were we able to stop either one of them? Oh, yeah. Whoa. All right, let's shoot at A1. We'll shoot at M855A1 right somewhere in here. And we are containing the damage. Huh. All right, I'm a little shocked that it was able to stop the green tip, so we went ahead and put the M855A1. We're gonna go ahead. We'll go a little to the right, in between. Here we go. Woo! 3,004 feet per second. Right here is where we hit with the A1, and it looks like it definitely went through into the clay, but how far into the clay did it go? Very little. Woo! It almost stopped it. Wow! So, there is the penetrating core. There's the best thing to see is the back end of that. I don't know if you can see that or not, but so M855A1. So we'll either hit this with a bunch of green tip. You know what? Let's go over this. Let's hit this with a 30-06 full metal jacket. Okay, so this one's going to be interesting to me. This is a 150 grain full metal jacket out of the Remington 700. Should be going fairly close to 2,900 feet per second. No penetrating core. Let's see what this does to the plate. Here we go. Woo! 2935. And here's one of the tiles. So one of them did pop off. We hit within about an inch of the M855. Were we able to stop it? Oh, we were able to stop a 30-06 full metal jacket. 2,900 feet per second. That, as you can see, is quite a dimple in the clay. Whoa! It also looks like it took out a bit more of the front. That's why the tiles came up. So let's go ahead and hit this with, I don't know, we'll say 2, 3, 4. Let's hit 5 more times with M855. Okay, so it looks like we accidentally made an RF2 level plate. So would I say to anybody out there doing this build, to do this build? No, buy yourself a commercially available plate. We are testing the strike face here, and that's it. That's why we have 5 more rounds of M855 green tip loaded up. We are gonna see how much damage we could do to the front of that before we really start compromising the plate. So we'll just go ahead and try to go kind of around and see what we get. Clear. Okay, so now I think we have destruction of the plate. This one well within an inch, probably 3/4 of an inch. Also here, so we have 2 shots here. There's I'm sorry, no, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did any of those go through? Whoa! No, no, not at all. Not even this one at the very edge. I guess both of those at the very edge. Woo! All right, well, we'll take this back to the shop and deconstruct it, see what we got. Okay, so we are back from the range. Same day even, I'm excited. And we're gonna tear it down. I left the commercially available plate here just so we could see. This is the back side. So as you can tell, the tape doesn't do much for adhesion holding to the tiles. Quite a bit of usable space for being hit as many times as it was. Here's the polycarbonate. I gotta say the polyethylene stuck to the polycarbonate pretty good. But you can see the method of failure here. Pretty impressive. Oh, look at that. I'm not sure which shot this was. Should probably leave my gloves on, but we have, this is the 762 by 39, the mild steel, the LAP. That's really cool. And there's more lead. And here's one of the steel cores from the M855. Oops. Maybe I should get a magnet. Such a little guy. Right there. There's another one of those steel cores from the M855. However, I do not think we'll be able to see the back of the tile, but you could definitely see the polycarbonate definitely slowed these pieces down. Oops. I don't know. Do smaller ceramic tiles with a good enough support behind it mitigate the amount of cracking? I don't know. We might have to do more testing on this. But we'll call it a success for right now.
Now onto the build. And of course this is only experimental and for entertainment, but we went ahead and started with the polycarbonate. Just used a regular jigsaw to cut out the 10 by 12 shape. And the reason I started with the polycarbonate, you'll see right after I cut this, is it's going to give me the multi-curve shape. That was one of the biggest components in trying the smaller tile in the face. So after we cut it, we basically grind off the edges smooth. But the next step of this is one of the most crucial. It's heating it to a certain point that the polycarbonate is still flexible but not brittle. This may have a little bit more experience into what to look for. Make sure it doesn't bubble, make sure it doesn't burn. But as you can see, the sides are already starting to kind of conform to the shape that I have underneath. And the big part of this is I used a big sack just to give it its shape. I put that on there, pressed it on, and I waited overnight. Now, the next day I came and essentially just wanted to see what shape we had ended up with. And to my surprise, it was as close to a multi-curve plate that I was willing to do. I had consistent curves on the sides and on the top. I could have gone a little bit more aggressive on the top, but I was happy with it. So from this point, it's time to start adding the tile. Now again, these are small tiles, so the polycarbonate is more support to keep it from being pushed out of the way from the projectile. And for adhesive, I basically used heavy-duty Gorilla Glue and did a layer on the polycarbonate. A thin layer that I spread evenly, and As soon as I did that, I had already had the tiles taken apart. I one by one put each one with as little gap as possible between each one. You also don't want to have too much adhesive that it's actually keeping the tiles from getting close to each other. So after 10 minutes, this is what we had. And the next step is just to put another thin layer of adhesive on top. That way we kind of seal it from every direction. Again, keeping the adhesive as thin as possible, but still enough to add support. And as you can see behind, we have great coverage of adhesive to the tile and the polycarbonate. Now next we're going to add the polyethylene. I'm not going to show the technique I used for pressing this. It's kind of unique, and I'll just say it's a 50-ton press and heat. And so once again, I just add adhesive, put the plate on that, clamp it down, and you know what? 24 hours later, this is what I'm left with. This, covering it with some tape, and it's ready to test.
So for those of you still here to the end, I appreciate it. I'm looking back at the editing of this video and I realized maybe I could have showed a little bit more on the build side. If you guys are really interested in that, let me know in the comments. I may not show how I actually put the polyethylene, ultra high molecular weight polyethylene together, but I can show you the components. I can show you what I built and how I do it. I feel some of these are processes that are unique to how I build, so I'm sure you guys get that if you're still here to the end. Otherwise, take a look at the links in the description, and I'm gonna go ahead and start putting playlists up. That way you guys can keep the body armor with the body armor, the hunting stuff with the hunting stuff, 12 gauge stuff with the 12 gauge stuff, and furthermore. So again, like, share, subscribe if this is kind of what you're looking at getting into, or the content that you appreciate. Feel free to purchase a hat or one of the shirts. Helps out the channel. I have affiliate links on the website, so go take a look there. Otherwise, until the next one.